Welcome to Reality After Show coverage of House of Villains Season 2. We're talking premiere week, episodes 1 and 2. I'm Jonny Fairplay, joined by Jenn Hoffman, and holy moly, can we fit all this in the camera? Mr. Spectacular, Jesse Godderz.
It's a lot of man meat. Jonny Fairplay. I would expect the most grandiose, extravagant, over the moon ovation from a fellow wrestler such as a performer, a sports entertainer, a manager, if you will, than that. I mean, I almost think we should redo it again. Come on, Jen,
Here's
get your
why.
guy in check.
We have to choose between fitting your face or just like one bicep into the frame.
I wore my Eddie Guerrero inspired shirt for you. I thought that was the over the top.
That's fair.
All right, that
That's
will
fair.
lift you any better for you. Okay, we are talking to Mr. Spectacular. Originated besides the wrestling career of Big Brother 10, brought him back for Big Brother 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, Celebrity Big Brother. Then he's blowing up as a wrestler after meeting Ric Flair and the Jonny Fairplay. And now he is on House of Villains. Huge character. And I have some theories about you, but we'll get into it in a minute.
That is a little bit more respectable. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Everybody, please.
That's why Jen's here.
The professional and the pest. We'll say that.
I started phoning it in years ago, Jesse.
Oh no. Thank you for having me. I love it. Everything House of Villains. I mean, what a world. I mean, even when I was so jealous of you, Jonny Fairplay. There's not many times that Mr. Spectacular could say that he's actually jealous, but the fact that you beat me onto House of Villains, that is an accolade in and of itself, and I applaud you the jealousy knows no bounds. The magnitude of I was like, and if there was ever there's probably a handful of people that obviously I'm just more CBS oriented, obviously. Sure. You know, not necessarily going.
No one in the house is. I assure you that.
Seriously. So when it all came down to it, there's only a handful of people that I could think of that came to the top of my mind. I'm so stoked to follow, obviously, in your footsteps in the sense of right behind it, in bananas and stuff like that. You guys did a phenomenal job. Omarosa, Shake, all these guys. Jax did his role. It's just. This entire platform is beautifully. It couldn't be any more perfectly catered to a personality and a shtick other than myself, Mr. Spectacular, and I absolutely relished in it. I loved it every single day, every competition, every time Joel came out was a dream come true. Sincerely, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, we see from the trailer for the season, you appear to be all in. I mean, it's not like we get episodes 1 and 2. We got some pecs going. We'll get to the battle royale itself. Maybe a mismove, but we've seen Calm Jesse, and I'm just like, they didn't cast Calm Jesse, and I don't think we have Calm Jesse for long.
Well, this is what I was going to ask. I think that this is my premise, know how to do television, which not everybody on a show like Big Brother does. But like Fairplay and Bananas know how to produce TV while being on TV, make yourself a huge character from the wrestling background, from just being like a showman in general. So you had a bunch of Big Brothers where you were like, okay, I can just come in here and just make television. I can, it's like you get it. You understand the assignment. And then you just walked into a house full of other people that mostly also understand the assignment. So was your quietness, or not quietness because you do talk, but holding back on who we know Mr. Spectacular to be, strategic? Or was it because once you got there, you were like, whoa, I need to re-strategize how I frame myself? Because everyone in here is trying to get camera time and knows how to be on reality TV.
To the T, you pegged it all the way through 100%. There's times where I talk and the conversations that I have are very tactful, very meaningful, and they're like sidebar conversations. I'm going to let it's almost like, no offense to anybody. when there's banter that goes back and forth, it falls on deaf ears to me. Like, that's not gameplay. There's no gameplay in related to that. What will soon transpire? Yes, like the claws will come out. The best way I can put it, you know, in Mortal Kombat at the end, where I think it's Liu Kang, the Asian American dude, turns into that crazy beast at the end,
Yeah.
where he transforms into something that they didn't know what he could possibly turn into. I feel like there's moments for everybody, but mine, when I have it, is the best. And to you eloquently put it, yes. I was trying to be more tactful the first couple, and everything's elicited villainous wise, and it's all geared towards myself. Am I going to continue flexing my pecs? Yes. Am I going to let the other house guests think that that's all I can do? 1000%. Is that what I'm going to do the entire time so they think that I'm one dimensional? Absolutely. Am I going to use other people that somehow are inside this house that I know of as a meat shield inside this house? Because I've always walked into a competition and been public enemy number one, biggest target on my back. I'm going out the door, fighting for my life inside Big Brother every single week, or having to win a competition. And then when you win a competition, you should be able to actually take your foot off the gas, but you can't, because now you're making enemies on top of it. And in this world, everybody has such a big ego, and people are just going back and forth about the most minuscule things of like followers and this, and like, you looked at me in Raider Nation this. I'm just like, this, there's no substance to any of these fights other than just really loud noise. So I'm going to let it all breathe, kind of figure out who I can work with, and then navigate the waters thereafter with the people that I select and choose. But nobody thinks that I know how to play the game of Big Brother. And anybody that's ever watched Big Brother that has 2 cents knows there's a psychological element and a mental element that, like, I'm already leaps and bounds ahead of these individuals. So it'll all transpire without giving anything away. It'll all come out in the wash.
So
Well,
like Mortal Kombat, I feel like we get like a finish him kind of moment.
I'm ready for a
Yeah,
finish.
that too. It's all in there. It's all in there.
Jesse, you used the term meat shield, and the difference between a Survivor and a Big Brother versus House of Villains, and we learned this right out of the gate on season 1 of House of Villains. You have a big personality and a big body like Jax Taylor, and you know, we go in there and we're just like, all right, well, Jax is an obvious first target. This guy will win every single challenge. Well, you learn immediately season 1, and then the subsequent challenges on season 1 followed on season 2, episodes 1 and 2. The bigger you are does not make you the better player in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it's an advantage to be a big, dumb jock.
Welcome to the world of reality television. Exactly. And then you make nice with everybody and treat them with the same way it is in professional wrestling. You have courtesy because there's 2 Ferris wheels. You're going to see the same people on the way up as the same people on the way down. So don't piss anybody off, because it's going to get real rocky if you do. And as soon as that person gets the rocket strapped to their ass and it's their time to shine, get out of their way and help them the best you can and do business. That's it. These people the circus is in town. Everybody's a walking, talking gimmick. Safari, I didn't know what happened. I thought I was the first person into the house and I saw a bunch of feathers or something. I didn't even know what it was. I get into the SUV and I'm just like, was somebody else in here? They don't tell us anything. You just get in the SUV, you get in the Escalade, you get there, you show up, and then everybody was already inside there. And I saw the dude with the fur coat, Safari. And I'm just like, it all makes sense now. So, but yes,
You're walking into a carnival of people that are maybe more focused on getting attention and getting a rise of people. They think that's competitiveness, where you're going, no, there's real money here. And also, the further you go, the more airtime you get. So that's real competitiveness, not just saying the most, having the most fights, putting targets on your back right away. So you're like, okay, if I'm a big dude, and God willing, people do not know that, like, I'm very strategic on Big Brother, not just a comp beast, that you can walk in there and just be like friendly Midwest, jacked guy who just wants to be kind of one of the boys and nice to the girls. And I noticed you doing that. And I was just like laughing while everyone else is screaming their heads off and talking about asking you directly if Teresa's food sucks. And you're just like not saying a word.
It was brutal. I was like, oh
I've
my
never
gosh.
seen you not eat, Jesse.
Exactly. So I took way too much food, and then I had to like cut it up and move it around and condense it and hide it under a napkin. And Richard straight just called me out for it. And I'm like, wow, you really want me to know? Or you really want to know the answer? Like, here you go, real quick. But so in that competition, I made up that 60 seconds single-handedly, and then they somehow turned it like I was the problem. I'm like, right. I just blew through all of this, let New York do that, cute stunt, and still made up that 60 seconds to have us even within the running of being able to do this. And you think I just turned and walked away? It's like, Victoria, you've got to be joking me. Like, that was more of a slap in the face. And they were all on board with it. They're like, yep, Jesse sabotaged us. I'm like, New York should have the heat, and I'm somehow the heat. Like, how did I acquire all this? Because I turned and walked away. It blew my mind.
Well, I think it's because Victoria realizes she's screwed and looks around and goes, well, who can
There's
I
a scapegoat
out, and throw the attention off if she at least has the brain cells to do that. So, she does that, which is pretty smart because she is a villainess. And all of a sudden it looks like
That's giving her quite a bit of credit. That's giving her way more credit than I'm telling you in real time. That's not what was going through her mind at all. She's just like, well, it was because people love to not take ownership. Extreme ownership by like Jocko Willett is like the most you could. I mean, once you have like these kids, they're all kids. Like,
yeah.
And then you start to just compartmentalize everybody. Like Richard is playing in a game that like it used to be because he loves the word reliable. Like you'll hear it time and time again. Who's reliable and how reliable on the scale of reliability are you? Because then you can lose that reliability. And I'm just like, okay, cool. That's where he's playing. And there was people straight out of the gate playing. I was playing the game from as soon as I walked through the door and started shaking hands. Like straight dead ass, like game on, like let's go. Other people were like looking each other up and down, and I'm just like, 5 people are called queen. Victoria took her crown off, and like you just lost that. Like you can't, like you're inside here with a bunch of villains, and like you're losing steps here, and I'm just like, oh god, you have one stick, and like you just lost it and gave it to somebody else.
Anyway. Well, you get a little bit of dinged again because not only do they blame you for the loss, but then you get invited by the other team on the reward, which is now making more of a spotlight of like, what's up with this on you? And then you're also there with the other person who I noticed played the game the second he walked in the door, Wes, who pretended not to notice that, say that he knew New York already, giving her a look like, nice to meet you, person I've never done a show with before. So I'm like, okay, Wes is playing and Jesse are playing. Do you think you guys were the only people like really strategizing in the house, or like who's strategic and who's clueless?
Richard was definitely playing. Camila was trying to the best of her abilities. Candy, straight out of the gate, was playing 100%. And then I'd say Teresa wanted to play, but she wanted to play by like whoever came to her and kind of talk game. And then she was still going to kind of digest it and then make her educated decision off of whatever she felt, because she was more just assimilating like whomever the contestant was or whomever the villain was with her, like, do I like him or not? And like that was it. Either you're on her shit list or like she likes you. Like there's no like she's gonna tell you and straight to your face. And anybody that's played these, it's like if you're being coy at all, you're the mark. You're it. You're the one that's going home. And that definitely transpires with her. With New York, I didn't even try.
So you're literally describing Shake's entire game from last season.
Yes.
Hey, I don't know.
You can tell with Teresa, too, that she's being much quieter and much more tolerant than she normally would be because she's trying to lay low. And I don't know how that's going to work for her long term. I mean, maybe it's a good strategy for episode 1, but it doesn't seem like a good long-term strategy. I don't think that Richard Hatch attacking Wes instead of trying to work with the gamer and then also attacking you and calling you out at dinner is a good strategy. I think Richard is digging his own grave instantly by going, Wes is planning stuff and gaming and a leader, and then, oh, look, Jesse doesn't like your food. Like, he's trying to stir up shit, but like exactly like you said, the way somebody would do it years and years ago, thinking that the other people there are just innocent little lambs who don't know how to also do it. So I'm like, oh God, Richard, you're messing with not only the wrong people, but two of the biggest wrong people.
Yeah, Wes and him, like, as I was sitting there watching that, like, they're just having a pissing contest, and then, like, they're like, oh, I'm the bigger mind mentality, psychological warfare, it's me, and I'm just sitting there like, if I jump in,
you out yourself.
Yeah.
It's not the right time. And I just let them keep going. And what's that? Exactly. So I watched it, and I'm sitting there like, but it was like the who's dick's bigger contest at the back moment, because they were so, but he was doing it because he felt emboldened, and he was so confident with Wes in that place at that time. It didn't matter who heard it, didn't matter who said it, because Richard also will tell everybody everything the same exact way. He'll tell you behind your back, but to your face, to his credit. It's not like he hides it. So by him calling out Wes in front of everybody, nobody else had the wherewithal to understand what he was actually doing. When I'm sitting there watching the entire thing unfold, and they're literally trying, it's their minds. Like, if they were caricatures, they're just having, like, they were just swelling up. Like, how am I going to just punt this dude and just smite him? And I'm just like watching this entire thing unfold. I'm like, this was it, boys. You just hashed out the whole season. And it's crazy.
Like, I also go in season one, I go in as, I consider myself one of the greatest survivors of all time. And I'm in the kitchen. I'm having a conversation with Bobby Lights from For Love or Hip Hop, Tanisha from Bad Girls Club. And they're like, what's your alcohol budget on Survivor? And I'm just like, no, we're just trying to get water. They're like, why are you talking about water? Like, what's your alcohol? I'm just like, no. And they're just like, so what is Survivor? They have no clue what Survivor is. The number one greatest show, the granddaddy of the one that started it all. And I'm just like, oh, well, and they're just like, so you're supposedly the smart guy from Survivor. Everything. I'm like, sure. And they're like, and you do a show where you live on the ground and they don't give you alcohol. And I'm like, yes. They're just like, you stupid. And that was it. Like, from then on out, they're just like, this guy that's supposedly a genius is obviously an idiot, because they get $10,000 an episode in alcohol for their show.
And they get a bed and they get, hair and makeup or whatever. So they're thinking, oh, this guy.
What am I thinking? Like, why does anyone think anyone from Survivor's smart? Big Brother, oh, what you guys share 4 beers? You're stupid.
Well, the fact that they all went through, and I mean, again, like, yes, Love and Hip Hop, and obviously cable is completely different than.
No, same.
Yeah, and they have different importance.
They know me from a hole in the wall.
Things have changed. It used to be like network was the biggest. So if you were on like Apprentice, Survivor, Big Brother, if you're on a network thing, everybody in America knows you. But as things have become more segmented, being on Netflix, being on a Bravo, being on these like niche shows, especially depending on how old you are too and what you like, could make you seem like, like, oh my gosh, this person was on this type of dramatic show, so they're a bigger villain or a bigger whatever than somebody from a Survivor or Big Brother. So they're just thinking about who can have the bigger fight and most screen time, not like winning a competition, except for Teresa, because she's done like Celebrity Apprentice, I think Traders, like she knows a little bit about competition. So I don't think that the other people recognize that. I think they're just looking at her like a housewife. But most of the other people there are yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And followers and clout, because they want to compartmentalize you. They think everything is just like who you are. What can you do for me? How can I get over on you? And how can I look good? Oh, should we have a fight and have screen time? Obviously, you know how New York conducts herself. There's a reason that she has had the illustrious career that she is queen of the meme, and it's still going. She'll probably be. Yeah, she is going to be forever. I mean, forever. She cemented herself, and she will continue. And this isn't the last time. It's not. She's going to have many shows afterwards because she gets it and she knows her role. If I go on, if I was fat and out of shape, first off, they'd be like, all right, well, you're off the show. Because on top of it, it's like, I don't care what photo it is. I can take my shirt off and people are going to look at me and be like, okay, he's a star.
Right.
Like, I don't know what he's done or where he's at or what he's doing, but like, who is this guy? I don't like all these other people that have Chanel, Gucci, Prada, all this stuff. Like, I don't care. And that's the beauty of it. So then when I don't care on top of it, walking in the midst of people that do care about that stuff, that only care. And you're just like, guess what? I don't need any of that stuff. And you don't realize what I'm going to do to you later, but we're just going to keep this on the DL. I'm going to be cordial, nice until I can't be nice anymore. But then when I speak up, it's just like when Dad talks. When Dad loses his temper, shit gets real. If and when that comes, I think you obviously have a pretty good understanding that it is a ticking time bomb, and there's at some point in time you can expect it.
Yeah, like when I went to
Dad
brunch with
back,
Tanisha and Omarosa on season 1, you had Tanisha going, I'm more famous than you, Omarosa, and Omarosa's like, what do you like? Omarosa's like, I literally had 25 million people watch me weekly, and Tanisha's like, oh no, I got a TikTok with 25 million views, and she was like, girl, we're talking network television. Prime time,
one name, Oprah,
live viewers that left their life to sit down for 1 hour to watch me, not that casually scrolled on TikTok and saw you.
Yeah.
And Tanisha could not separate the two. She goes, I'm equally as famous, if not more famous.
Yeah, she couldn't wrap her head around the fact that Omarosa was elevated to a one-name person, which means you are absolutely famous. If people don't even need to know your last name, if they just know Omarosa, you are famous. But they're very, it is all about like, oh, I noticed you have a very nice bag on your bed. You must be important.
Yeah, Tanisha's last name is from Bad Girls Club.
Yeah. It's that's true. It is teaching from Bad Girl. You have to qualify where you're from. If you have to tell everybody where you're from in order for them to even be interested in you, forget about recognizing you, but have any interest in you, which goes to your point of even if you just pose or take off your shirt, people are still interested, whether they're familiar with Big Brother or not. Then you're a little delusional about how important or famous or relevant you are.
I love it. You guys, you have a great pulse on this entire landscape. Wholeheartedly agree with.
You lived in a house of insanity
everything.
because it's literally you knowing this, Hatch knowing this, Wes knowing this. Camilla appears to be deciphering the code, and possibly, so far based on the edit, Safari maybe. I'm at 50%. No one else gets this, and then Teresa's like, "I'm a queen."
I think Safari secretly gets it, but
I think so too. As I said, there were glimpses.
Yes, and I will say, all right. So okay. Before we let you go, I will say something. I predict that you go very far. I think not only from the previews. I mean, sometimes people get a lot of time in the previews just because they know people like to watch chaos, and they're going to be somebody who goes fast. But with you, because you've been a little bit quieter and you get a lot of preview time, and I think you're playing it very, very smart. I think you're going to go very, very far. So I know you can't confirm nor deny anything, but I think you lay low enough until you can kind of take over, and then I think some shit goes down. So what should we be excited to see from you? Most excited?
Just packs and more packs, because you know what? When in doubt, flex it out. Like it's such. It's
there we go.
A segue, and oh look!
I paid attention back in the day when you taught me, Jesse. Thank you. I would like one with clothes next time.
The workout video definitely helped.
I'm the chick, and I'm the one who's most covered up here. I'm like, you two hoes showing off your body.
So, what, Jesse? Thank you so much for joining us. Hey,
Perfect.
I think we're going to have the winner come back. So who's to say this may not be your last appearance here on the Reality After Show podcast?